Gold Star Watch of America, Magnolia, Texas.
Please be seated. It's now my pleasure to introduce the director of Chattanooga National Cemetery, fellow naval officer, Michael Faust.
Thank you, Nikki. Congressman Flashman, welcome. Families, friends of those we remember today. Most importantly, Gold Star families and America's veterans. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our Memorial Day ceremony and commemoration at Chattanooga National Cemetery. Today, we honor the brave men and women that never came home and paid the ultimate sacrifice. Those that served and are now laid to rest. Since 1775 to now, we are taking a pause today to respect, honor, and remember their legacies. Thank you for coming here to honor our fallen heroes. If you get a chance, please thank the hardworking staff here at Chattanooga National Cemetery. Rain, sleet, snow, they're here every day. They're honoring your loved ones. And CABC, thank you. Bill, there's Bill with the CABC hat. So Bill Norton and I have been together for several months planning, organizing Memorial Day. This is a tradition that's been here at Chattanooga with the CABC since 1983. And I can't say how much I appreciate it. Thank you. So before this blows away on me. So may God bless you, our service members, our veterans, and the United States of America.
This will be a medley of the Armed Forces songs. When you hear the song for your service, please stand and be recognized. We'd really like to honor you.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and cloud, we will on shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready The army goes rolling along, rolling along. The army goes rolling along with its high, high hay. The army's on its way. Count up the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along, along. Off we go into the wild, through yonder. And the boys give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, down in the wave of wonder. Off we're gone, terrible roar, roar. We live in pain, we're down in flame, and nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. And those are the brave armed forces of America. They serve America. And home or overseas, they serve America.
Good morning. As a part of our commemoration today, we pause to honor our Gold Star wives and our Gold Star families. Each of you here and unable to be with us is a powerful reminder that while your beloved one is absent from our midst, your individual sacrifices and profound strength resonate across this nation. Today, we acknowledge your journey, offer our support, and amplify our voices as we collectively join you in carrying the torch of remembrance. We pledge that their stories will never be forgotten, and equally important, we honor your sacrifices, stand in awe of your resilience, and celebrate your unyielding love. Their deaths and your devotion remind each of us that we must every day live a life worthy of their sacrifice. This nation's continued fight for freedom, equality, and the rule of law were purchased at an incredibly high price. Now, would our Gold Star wives and members of our Gold Star families please stand as able as the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 203, honor you with the yellow rose of eternal remembrance. May peace and love surround you every day of your lives. We love you. Booth Stark and Fred Husky of Chapter 203 VVA are presenting the roses today. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies, thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jeff Eversole, Chairman of the Hamilton County Commission.
Thank you, Linda. As we're here today to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, I'd like to recognize our local dignitaries that are here today. So if our federal, state, and local dignitaries, if you would please stand and be recognized by the crowd. If you look throughout, below these stones lay a lot of young soldiers who actually gave up 2 lives, the lives that they lived in sacrificing for our country, that they were sons and daughters, and also the lives of the future that they laid down, which were being fathers, grandfathers, aunts, and uncles. For that, we salute them, because courage is not living without fear. Courage is being scared to death and still doing the right thing. With that, I'd like to introduce our congressman. Congressman Fleshman represents the Tennessee's 3rd congressional district. He's learned his law degree from the University of Tennessee. I'd like to introduce Congressman Fleshman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Earlier today, I came by the National Cemetery as we drove in and visited my father's grave. He fought in World War II, buried over here by that nice, beautiful White House, China, Burma, India, United States Army. My uncle is here, proud United States Marine, fought in World War II, came home in a body cast. My father-in-law is here, was in the Air Force. There's a theme here. These people served, had good lives, gave back to their country, and are now in this sacred resting place. But in the few moments I have to share with you, I want to focus on the solemnity, on the sacredness, on the importance of this day that we call Memorial Day. This is my 15th year with you all, and I embarked on a mission 15 years ago to make absolutely certain that anyone who would listen to me in America would understand the meaning of Memorial Day. We love Veterans Day. We love Wreaths Across America. Every time we come here to honor those folks who have served. But Memorial Day is special. Memorial Day is different. And it's different because that is the day that we honor those men and women who paid and gave the ultimate sacrifice. We are here today honoring them. I grew up with veterans of World War II and Korea, with their families, with our families. But those who didn't make it, I can remember my father talking about his cousins. Some were in Europe, his brother was in the South Pacific, and the like. And then one day, he said, let me tell you about Billy and Jackie Windus. Windus was his mother's family. See, Jackie Windus didn't come back from the Battle of the Bulge. Billy Windus was a pilot in what we used to call the Army Air Corps. He survived many missions, but he didn't come back after he flew in Korea. My dad, before he passed, gave me a very beautiful piece of cloth. It had 3 blue stars on it. And I said, what did those blue stars mean, Dad? He said that meant that these were the members who served in our family. But I see our wonderful Gold Star wives here and Gold Star mothers. He said every once in a while he would be driving around Queens. Queens is where he was from. It's a suburb of New York. It's actually where our great president is from. And he'd see a gold star. And what did that gold star mean? That meant that that person gave the ultimate sacrifice. They were not going to come back to their mothers and fathers, to their sisters and brothers, to their families. There was always going to be a void there. So as we honor them today, on Memorial Day, let us think and pray for them and their families. Because of them, because of their ultimate sacrifice, we live in the freest, greatest nation in the world. God bless you.
It's my honor now to introduce Bob White, who's filling in for the Hamilton County Mayor. Bob is born and raised here in Hamilton County. He was the senior advisor and also deputy chief of staff for Congressman Fleischman. He is presently filling in as the federal projects coordinator for the county. Bob.
Thank you so much. Mayor Womp couldn't be here today, and he asked me to fill in for him, and he sends his best wishes. Most importantly, he asked me to express his heartfelt appreciation for all the men and women who gave their lives for this country so that we can be free. I've been with Congressman Fleischman at several of these events, and one thing that him and I talked about, and he had even mentioned, I remember as a young man coming home from school and looking at during the supper table there, the TV would be on and you could hear Walter Cronkite giving the casualty reports down in the corner of the TV, and I was just, I was in elementary school, and, I remember my mother, the tears rolling down her cheeks, and she would say, God bless those soldiers, God bless their families. And you could see what this meant to her. And I was learning about what Memorial Day really meant. And then 55 years ago, I had the privilege of coming as a scout and putting flags up. And that was the day that Memorial Day became real to me. So one of the things that I want to say today is that we live in a different world today than what I did 55 years ago. And our young people, our next generations, we cannot let them forget what our men and women sacrificed to make sure that that flag flies and we stay free, and what they did to make sure that every day that we can live here free. And so I challenge everyone here today to reach out to a young person and make sure that they understand what these men and women, the sacrifice they gave. So with that, this Memorial Day, let's pay tribute to the heroes who gave everything for our nation. Their courage and sacrifice will always be remembered. Honor and remember. Thank you.
It's now my special privilege to introduce Ellis Smith. Ellis is representing Mayor Kelly's office. Ellis we work very closely together throughout the community on a number of veterans projects. Today, he will address us about the Veterans Bridge Initiative. Ellis.
Hi there, and I just want to thank Bob. Bob's been a great public servant for this community for a lot of years, and we're so glad to have you here and serve this country as well. So thank you. And Congressman Fleischman, I remember hearing the first time you referred to Chattanooga as the most patriotic city in the country, and that's been an inspiration for us and for this office and for our staff. So thank you so much for your words. So again, I'm Ellis Smith. I'm the Director of Intergovernmental and External Affairs for the City of Chattanooga. Mayor Kelly does send his regrets, but he can't be here with us in person. He did want me to thank you for your involvement in helping keep alive the memory of those who've served and to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. As most of you know, Chattanooga proudly flies 30 flags on our Veterans Bridge. I'm sure all of you have been over it and seen those. And thanks to the patriotism and support of you, our residents, and others like you, we're able to keep those flags flying day in and day out through storms like we saw yesterday and gales. And as the most patriotic city in America, it's not only our duty to do so, but it's our honor. I have with me mayoral proclamations recognizing each veteran who is honored with a flag. And I will stick around after the service to hand those out to those of you who are present. So now it is my privilege to recognize those brave men and women in whose names the flags on Veterans Bridge now fly. James David Ware Bentley served for 6 years with 3 years in the Army National Guard. Private Lowell Green Jr. served in the Army, was stationed in Korea during the Korean War, died from a landmine incident, was buried in 1951. Sergeant Patrick Durham from Chattanooga, Tennessee, attended Red Bank High School, enlisted in the Army in 2006, served with the 101st Screaming Eagles, did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and passed away in Afghanistan on August 28, 2010. He was laid to rest in the Francis Cemetery. Sergeant Jerry Mitchell served for 9 years in the U.S. Army as a U.S. Army paratrooper and communications specialist during the Persian Gulf War, with tours at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Carlson, Colorado, and Camp Page, South Korea. First Sergeant Eddie Mitchell served from 1968 until 1992 in the U.S. Army, serving in Germany, Korea, and Vietnam, and retired as first sergeant from the 101st Airborne Division. Sergeant Major Johnny Mitchell served from 1952 until 1982 in the U.S. Army, serving in Guam, Korea, Germany, and two tours in Vietnam. Marshall C. Watson served during the Vietnam War, was stationed at, I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, Long Binh Post, received the Bronze Star, 2 Army Commendation Medals, and was rated as an expert with the M14 and M16 rifles. He later worked in logistics and was involved in church leadership. Lieutenant Colonel H. Scott Hardin served from 1986 to 2014 in the U.S. Army, attended various military courses, had 3 combat deployments, that's Desert Storm, Afghanistan, and Iraqi Freedom, and deployed to Qatar and South Korea. He retired as a lieutenant colonel and continues to serve his country, community, and veterans. Also, I'm here to honor Rolling Thunder, which focuses on publicizing the POW MIA issue and supporting American veterans. They've been a longtime supporter of the flags. Specialist Lonnie Allen Floyd served in Vietnam with the United States Army, was killed in action on January 14th, 1967, and was posthumously awarded several medals. He also was an athlete at Chattanooga City High School. And finally, Petty Officer First Class James Michael Russ served from 1986 until 2006 in the U.S. Navy, served in the Persian Gulf War and Operation Iraqi Freedom, received the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, and later served as a police officer with the Chattanooga Police Department until his death just 2 years ago in 2023. Let's give all them a round of applause and recognition. Thanks to the loved ones of those who have served for keeping the flags flying proudly. And so now, in the name of Tim Kelly, Mayor of the City of Chattanooga, I do hereby proclaim that American flags shall be affixed to Chattanooga's Veterans Bridge and flown in recognition of the dedicated service of each of these heroes. Thank you.
It's now my extreme special privilege to introduce a fellow naval officer, Admiral Jeff Spivey. Admiral Spivey is a graduate of Eastridge High School. He is also a graduate of the University of Florida. He received his Master of Arts degree in communication from Johns Hopkins University. Admiral Spivey has also graduated from the U.S. Naval War College. He's a graduate of the Joint Force Staff College as well. Admiral Spivey was commissioned in 1989 via the Aviation Ocean Officer Candidate School. Admiral Spivey has flown just under 4,000 hours in numerous different types of naval aircraft. One of those aircraft was the P-3 Orion. I remember the P-3 very well. because it was an anti-submarine warfare home. It has flown over numerous oceans. As with most aircrafts, they do have a life. Admiral Spivey was then chosen to integrate the P-8 Poseidon aircraft, which replaced the P-3 Orion aircraft. Admiral Spivey has had numerous shore commissions as well. Those include the Vice Commander of U.S. Naval Forces, Europe and Africa. He served with the 6th Fleet as well. On his retirement, Admiral Spivey was Deputy Commander of the Military Sealift Command. Ladies and gentlemen, Chattanooga native, Admiral Jeff Spivey.
Good morning, Chattanooga.
Good morning.
It is a privilege to be here, and it's always so humbling to come home. There are so many tremendous shoes and heroes and people that have served with great dignity and honor through the years that are from this area, as I'll highlight today. When you come home, you rattle around in their shadow. So I'm honored to be here with those that have served. We're honored by the attendance and the remarks of Congressman Fleischman. Sir, that the work you're doing on the Defense Committee, the work you're doing in representing this great state is unparalleled. And as you work your way through, we admire you and support you in all that you do. I'd like to thank the staff, Ellis, Mayor Kelly, and sir, thank you for your remarks from the Mayor Wamp's office. And we welcome also, and I salute Tennessee State representatives and the city of Chattanooga and the Hamilton County leadership, Jeff. Thank you. Your dedication, your service make us all better. And that is a tireless, unending journey to manage the competing authorities there. But today is unique. Today is Memorial Day. And as we gather Memorial Day at this sacred Chattanooga National Cemetery to remember and honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice in military service. But today we come with a heavy heart to express our deepest gratitudes to those servicemen and women who lost their lives, who gave their lives, and to the Gold Star mothers, family members, and wives who we support and we love. It is by their bravery and sacrifice that we enjoy our freedom, our liberty, and we are truly preserved. I render a salute today to the Chattanooga Area Veterans Council, who embody and honor our military service in the post-service life. That's a post-service, after retiring for 12 years, you enter in that service, and it's a bit disorienting in the beginning, but then you can see the great work that come from the citizens of this country, because everyone in uniform came from the citizenry. We serve, and then we come back to the citizenry. And to be in your presence today is truly, we say the word honor many times, but it can't be overstated what you represent. The Chattanooga Area Veterans Council represents 50,000 in the 15 surrounding counties of this region. Of those 15 surrounding counties, their effort is a testament to Chattanooga's unique distinction, as was mentioned earlier, as the nation's most patriotic city, as you can see by putting out thousands upon thousands of flags of these markers, because each marker has a story. Personally, as is mentioned, I graduated from Eastridge High School years ago, and so that's what makes this uniquely home for me. It will always be a home for me, and I intend to retire permanently, probably on these grounds. We walk among hallowed graves today. We memorialize the profound cost of those that served with the distinction and the dignity for which they did. We honor the fallen from all services, from airmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and the Merchant Marine, who doesn't always get as much billing. But the Merchant Marine gave 9,500 lives, as documented in the World War II Museum in New Orleans, providing logistics. And we used to tell stories in Europe, and it was true. You can talk about tactics, you can talk about weapons, but the pros talk about logistics. Sustainment of your forces overseas is what is much required. And there are so many merchant mariners that don't have the same uniform, but they're out there on the high seas today. I had the privilege to lead them at Military Sea Lift Command, 2,500 strong today, and very much needed when they talk about our access to the world's oceans through the Panama Canal, the Suez Canal, and the shipbuilding programs that we desperately need in this country. As we are a maritime nation to support the Army, yes, the amazing Air Force, the amazing Space Force, but it takes all of us blended together. So today, as we look around, we remember those who fell at Missionary Ridge, in the trenches of World War I, on the beaches of Normandy, in the jungles of Vietnam, in the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan, and here at home in Chattanooga. Their names are etched in the stones that we see, and it's part of the story of our nation. Chattanooga is no stranger to sacrifice. From the Civil War battles, when this cemetery was first founded in 1863, these sacred hills have supported and received back global conflicts from around the world, and many did not come home. So this is a somber remembrance before us, and just like Jeff mentioned, these sailors lived the lives that generated the sacrifice, and then there's the life that they could have lived, and then there's the other part, the life that enabled us to live, the life that we live today. Let me share a story, several stories. The story of a young Navy veteran from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was courageous, sacrificed. His name is Charles Weldon Merritt, a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy, born in 1939. Charles grew up in Chattanooga, here in the shadow of the mountains and the Tennessee River. Bright young man. Became the navigator on the USS Constellation. Navigator, then he became a navigator aboard an A-6 aircraft. He was 27 when he was called to serve in Vietnam, aboard from the Constellation. And that day, as his A-6 intruder hurled across the northern part of Vietnam, he was ultimately hit by heavy flak and came down. And due to the jungle, the entrenchment, his remains were never recovered. Truly lost and recognized on the memorial in Washington, D.C. Let me tell you another story. The story about a young technical sergeant from Chattanooga, Tennessee, named Sanford G. Roy. He was born in 1913, found himself in 1944 in Europe. While in Europe, he was a race runner on the famous B-24H Liberator. His particular plane, it was big props out there turning, was called Little Joe. They were assigned to drive in and to reduce the industrial capacity of the enemy there in Brunswick, Germany. As you can imagine, it was heavily defended. He was strapped into the gunner's mate, no controls, just a gun, 50 cal. His job was to defend against enemy aircraft, but the Luftwaffe came. They made contact with that Liberator, and Little Joe went down near Brunswick, Salzwedel, Germany. That was in 1940s. But let me tell you the rest of the story. In 2016, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency were driven by a commitment. What we do as Americans, we bring everybody home. They're able to talk with Germany, develop that relationship, bring some technology, bring some analysis, and they were able to recover that Little Joe, that B-24, recover and identify his remains and return him. And he is resting here in this cemetery today. We leave no one behind. Similarly, over in Pearl Harbor, USS Oklahoma was docked at Liberty on a Sunday. We're very familiar with the enemy attack with the torpedoes that barreled into the side of USS Oklahoma. Fireman Third Class Warren Krim was on that ship that day, first oil-fed battleship, the second one actually. The torpedoes hit, and within just a few minutes, few seconds, the ship capsized there in Pearl Harbor, entombing so many soldiers. The ship was eventually raised, and then when it was raised, the remains were put in a mass grave in that mass grave, they were unidentified. They didn't have the technology back then. They tried to identify, but all these remains at the mass grave. Later, in 2017, they were exhumed, separated, and they were identified by DNA analysis. When they were identified by DNA analysis, he was able to be returned home. Warren Krim, which I got to officiate that as a Navy representative for that funeral in October of 2020, was returned home to McMinnville and is buried there today. But let me tell you another story. Lance Corporal Skip Wells, a young 21-year-old from Marietta, made Chattanooga his home, was serving as a reservist that day when the attacks came here in July of 2015. He lost his life in that time frame, and he too was returned home. Skip's death shook Chattanooga and beyond. His mother, Kathy Wells, was a single parent who said, as a Gold Star mother, my son died doing what he loved and with who he loved and serving a country he loved. But what about the lives that were saved? Isn't that what we want to all of us, the life we enjoy today? Many of you are familiar about Larry Taylor, his journey in Vietnam. On that moonless night on June 18 of 1968, he had a decision in the sweltering jungles of northeast Saigon near the village of Ap Dokong. First Lieutenant Taylor, 26-year-old Army helicopter pilot from Chattanooga, was tasked to support a team of Army Rangers. At night, his co-pilot, Chief Warrant Officer James Ratliff, were in their base in Phu Loy when the urgent radio crackled from the long-range reconnaissance patrol. Long-range reconnaissance patrols when the Army sends Rangers downrange to scout the enemy. And that's a very, very perilous job. They were surrounded by the enemy action, outmanned and outgunned, 25-1. The odds were against Larry that night. The odds were against Larry's decision. Should I go? Should I obey the conservative path? Or should I go? He went. He made the decision to go. And that night, after a series of engagements, he was able to take his Cobra helicopter, which only seats 2 people, and let the other 4 of those Army Rangers hang on the outside of that helicopter. And they pulled them out of that situation under fire and dropped them off. And each of those 4 men changed their family's fate that day. Changed our fate and changed our story. And Larry came home. So the lost, the repatriated, and those that came home to provide us the opportunity. And what an opportunity we had. So look around you. These rolling hills hold the remains of over 50,000 service members. Every stone tells a story, the love for country and the freedom for which they worked. I'd like to pause now and ask everybody to close your eyes for a moment of silence in respect for our fallen. As we place these flags and wreaths, and as we pray and reflect, let us vow to live with the same purpose. Let us make Chattanooga a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience and unity, a city that honors its past by shaping a better future. Memorial Day is not just about the heroes whose names we know. It's about the private who charged into danger to save his squad, the nurse who died tending to the wounded, the sailor lost at sea. It's also about the reverence owed to the families left behind. Parents, spouses, children who bore the weight of that loss. But in Chattanooga, we know these stories. We see the Gold Star families. We love them. That join us today. We join all the veterans who have served and who visit these graves in this great national cemetery run by the VA. Those we honor today are gone but never forgotten. And we must assume the unspoken duty to remind our friends and families, their children, our neighbors. We must happily embrace the responsibility of promoting service to one's country that we all do and that you do so brilliantly in Chattanooga. By sharing the stories, we keep their memories alive. We give others a glimpse of military service. We aim to inspire and to create a better world, a stronger nation, and a kinder community. So as you look at the red, white, and blue, be reminded that each color represents the valor, the vigilance, and the perseverance found in the heart of every service member and their family. Thank you for being here today to help celebrate the lives and legacies of those we have lost. We will never be forgotten and always be revered. May God bless our fallen brothers and sisters and continue to comfort the families, the ones that lost, and loved ones. May God bless Chattanooga. May God bless America. Amen.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair. As we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. America, my home.
At this point in the program, we will have the firing of weapons for the 21-gun salute to honor our fallen comrades. So please prepare for the loud noise following this benediction. Let us bow our heads. Eternal God, we stand today on ground made sacred by sacrifice. These quiet hills, these rows of stone, these names etched in marble, they remind us not just of death, but of duty, of honor, and of love that gives all without counting the cost. We thank you, Lord, for the brave souls who rest here, men and women who answered the call when freedom's voice grew faint. In times of trial, they stood. In places of fear, they advanced. And in the hour of decision, they laid down their lives, not for fame, nor for gain, but for the hope that others might live free. Let us never forget their sacrifice was given to stir sentiment alone, but to call us to a higher way of living, to live with courage, to lead with humility, and to serve with grace. Bless their families with comfort that surpasses understanding. Heal the wounds of war that do not show, both in our veterans and in our nation's heart. As we now prepare to honor them with the solemn sound of arms and the mournful echo of taps, help us receive this silence, not as emptiness, but as reverence. Let every shot fired be a vow renewed, and let every note played be a prayer lifted, and let every heart present be reminded that freedom has never been free. May we leave this place not just with full hearts, but with burning resolve to be citizens worthy of the sense of race. Your mercy and might.
Oh God, attack, halt, hard, halt, right, hey, aim, fire, aim, fire, aim, fire, up, hey, present, halt.
That concludes our program today. If you'd like to stay here, think among the graves, visit with your friends, that's why we are here. So have a good day. Hope everything works good for you.